Double dipping.
Welcome back to Double Dipping, the podcast so good where one is never enough. Today with me, I have Hudson.
How's it going, guys?
It's great to have you here, Hudson. I know this is a highly anticipated episode.
Yep, the Huddy episode.
A lot of people are looking forward to this one because a lot of people as well, they love your guacamole.
They love the guac. I've heard good things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, like this is like for me, this is the best guac I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah, we had it once before. We were at Harry's last semester, and that was really good.
Yeah. So for those who are unfamiliar with the guac story, basically one day Harry decided to have a little shindig for some of the people in the physics society at his house, and I decided as a little party favor I was going to make some guac. So I had a little guac recipe that I kind of played around with, and everyone ended up really liking it. So it's become somewhat of a legend around the
yeah, a legend I think is a good word.
Society.
Because we always talk about it like we'll talk about something food related, and then it'll be like, yeah, but Hudson's guac. It's like that's where it's at.
I'm glad people like it, man. Like I love cooking, and
yeah, because
guac is no different.
You're quite the chef.
Yeah, I like to cook up a little bit in my free time.
Because as some other times we've went over to Harry's again, and in here just the other week, you chef up. You got a pretty specific burger recipe that you like to pull
I got
up.
a pretty like strict burger regimen that I put the boys on a couple times. It's pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, because you'll talk about it. I remember being at the grocery store and we're getting what we needed, and you were real specific. Like you knew what it was down to the T, because you were talking about how you were picking up some brie.
Yeah.
But the brie that you were looking at is like, no, this moisture level, it's too high.
Yeah. So that's just for the sear on the burgers. There's basically, if you have too much moisture, you don't get the proper like caramelization on the burger, because too much of the moisture leaks out and it ends up like steaming the meat instead of like actually putting like a good sear on it. So that's kind of the reasoning for that. But yeah, I'm pretty particular sometimes with the recipes.
I mean, it valid to be particular, because I mean those burgers were great, and again the guacamole is great. So that
the burgers really set the tone for the night.
Oh my god, yeah. Because it's hard to have a bad night after having a great burger.
Yeah, for real. I mean, I think those are words to live by, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you get that. Some girls got that tattooed in the small of their back somewhere. Just
yeah. That's a good tramp stamp to get. Hard to have a bad night after a good burg.
That's it. That's if there's ever words to live your life by, those are them.
Yeah, so we were talking a second ago about your filmmaking class, eh?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
how's
I'm
that going?
taking a film class. It's good. I finished my first film. I enjoyed making that one. And I'm working on my second one right now, which it's more of a documentary. Well, it's an interview. I did it with my dad when I was home for reading week. And so it's about Lego, actually.
About Lego?
Mm-hmm.
That must be an interesting one.
So we have a Lego room, and it's all about, so that's where it was shot. And it's all about my dad and his relationship with Lego and how he's grew up with it, and introduced it to me and my sister, and all this stuff. So it's a lot of fun.
And you guys really fuck with Lego too. Like...
Yeah, it's certainly it'll be out here in about a week or so. I'll probably end up putting it on the YouTube channel as well.
On the YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, with the first one, and I'm excited to get it done.
Yeah, but it's good though. I mean, Lego is such a classic toy, right?
I love it. Like, I know I got Lego downstairs right now. Like,
you always stay strapped with the Lego.
Yeah,
you
man.
Got to.
It's a great thing to do, because you can do a lot with it.
Yeah.
And I find I don't know, it's always a good time, therapeutic almost.
I think there's like a lot of connections built through Lego as well, because it's a very like creativity driven type of like hobby, right? So I think like, it's good for both adults and children. So
It's certainly it appeals to everybody.
one of those timeless things, right?
Exactly. Well, God, I was looking at some of the pieces I have here. Just randomly, I grabbed a bunch, and I was looking like the molds on the pieces were different, and I was looking through all the, fan sites,
looking through the codes,
looking to find the specific stuff. Because like they literally have like the model number of each thing like molded into the brick, and I was looking it up, and like this brick is from like 67 years ago, and it still holds up and
like you
works
had a
with the
brick
same
from
stuff.
67
Yeah,
years
yeah.
ago? Damn.
And just chilling downstairs right now, and it's crazy, like that they stick around a long time and they work, and it's definitely a generational hobby.
Yeah, massive like collector value too for the Legos. Yeah,
there's huge collector value. Like my dad, when he first like started getting a bunch of Lego sets probably about 4 years before I was born, he really started getting back into Lego. He started keeping all the boxes, so that whenever I was born and got old enough, I could take them out of the boxes and build it and do all that again. But then he never stopped.
He never stopped.
So we have every Lego set we have the box, and we have the instruction manual, and it's all put back into the box, and it's put in storage in our house.
Damn.
And the collector value of like the boxes and stuff is crazy.
Yeah.
Like people, like if you have all the pieces, the box, the instruction manual, all that original stuff, people will pay, stupid amounts of money for old sets.
Yeah. So have you ever sold any?
No, we've never
sacrilege.
Sold any. No, we couldn't imagine parting with any of it. But it's always the rainy day fun. Like if
shit goes south,
shit goes really
I'm hitting
south.
the Lego room.
Exactly, and be like, all right, let's start taking some shit apart and putting it back in the boxes, and popping her up on Bricklink and sound it out.
Pop Bricklink.
Bricklink, that's what it is.
That's like eBay for Lego pieces.
Exactly.
Damn, and you like bid on the
Lego
bits.
You can.
Damn.
It's like that's the best place to get it. Like I know for Christmas, my dad, he's always very particular about sorting his pieces whenever he's building a set. Yeah. Like he'll sort them out by color or piece or whatever. And I was looking on the Lego website, and I saw that they had, this big. It was like $1,200, but it's basically just a bunch of pieces, but it comes with a little sorting tray. I was like, that sorting tray, I know my dad would love that. $1,200 can go fuck itself.
Yeah.
So I went on Bricklink, and I was able to just get the sorting tray.
Oh, nice. And so you can get like individual pieces.
Yeah, you can buy individual pieces from Bricklink. I mean, you can from Lego too, but if you're looking for some older, more obscure stuff, you're going to want to go to Bricklink.
Yeah, Bricklink, yeah. Damn, it's like the black market Lego shit.
It is. Well, Lego bought them quietly.
Lego quietly bought them.
They acquired Bricklink a little while ago, and no one ever talks about that, but they own them.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
Kind of feeding into the kind of.
Yeah, I guess they wanted to control the whole market.
Yeah,
and
I suppose so.
Now they do, but it was nice. I remember when I saw that it happened, I was like, "Well, there it goes." Like they're gonna shut it down.
Yeah, you thought it was kind of like.
But no.
They kind of just kept it running. Didn't change too much.
Didn't change a thing. And all they do is own it, and they just get a little cut now.
Really kept that on the down low. Lego.
Yeah, they sort of they got their monopoly going on.
Yeah.
And they really got it.
Yeah.
Man. No, the Guac, man, it's calling to me, but I know you gotta wait.
We gotta wait, and we gotta.
You gotta get into the episode before you approach the Guac. But you brought something else, didn't you?
I did. Yeah. Do you want to get into?
We can get into those. Yeah.
Okay. So this is a little something. So, I mean, I figured that there's few things that I really enjoy. 3 of those things are coffee, beer, and whiskey.
Okay.
And I like the kind of like craft, like nice bottles of whiskey and nice coffee, like local, like organic type stuff like that. And same thing with beer. So you know, at the time of recording, it's probably a little too early for whiskey. It might be a little too late for coffee, but I think it's an appropriate time for beer.
Having a beer in the afternoon, in the summertime, you wouldn't think twice. So, what's late winter, early spring, And, it actually is a nice day today, actually.
It's a beautiful day today.
It's really starting to warm up.
Yeah.
But so these are local then?
Yes, relatively. This is,
this one says it's from Cape Breton. So.
Yeah, this is a Cape Breton beer. This one I don't think is from Cape Breton. Garrison, I think that's in Halifax, yeah.
Oh, well, in the province.
So, yeah, they're Nova Scotia beers. They're not immediately local. This one is Big Spruce Brewing, which is actually just like 45 minutes away from my home in Inverness, Cape Breton. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking to sponsor. I mean, we could always have the can. It's but no, I mean, which one do you want to go with
first?
Do you
want to get into first?
Yeah.
We'll try this one first because if you notice, these are actually very strong beers. This one's 6.5%.
6.5. Yeah, that's higher than a regular beer is.
Yeah, by a little bit. And then this one is actually 8%.
Holy cow.
So these are India Pale Ales, which is probably my favorite type of beer.
Okay.
And this one's actually a double India Pale Ale, so it goes through like 2 cycles of fermentation and hops.
Nice. And have you ever made your own beer?
I've never made my own beer, no. I would like to try it, but I feel like I would need, because it would be really hard to make one that's better than this.
Right.
Best I could do is like cheaper, right?
That's fair.
Maybe I could do okay if I like really got into it and did a little bit of research and stuff like that, but for now I'm putting my trust into old Garrison and Big Spruce here.
All right, well I
think we should try that.
Let's crack her open.
Should we?
Ooh. That's a crazy crack. Let's get that paper towel.
Here, should we just divvy it up in our cups here?
Yeah, let's down some water and then just
down some water and then down some beer.
Mm-hmm. That's how she goes. All right. I'll let you do the pouring because I've never been the best at pouring a beer. I suppose it's harder to tell in an opaque cup, eh?
Yeah, it's harder to tell in an opaque cup, but it still works fine. I find for IPAs especially, the pour isn't as important as just for like a regular like blonde ale or something. I think the reason behind that is because they're so hoppy, like they're gonna foam up no matter what you do. Really?
You were saying you're a big coffee drinker.
Oh yeah.
You ever had one of the like those coffee beers? Like that?
Yeah, I don't like them.
No?
That's a stout.
Yeah.
They make specific types of stouts with like different flavors, and usually they're like very like almost like savory flavors. Like sometimes they have like milk flavored stout or like oatmeal flavored stout. Well, it's not like flavored, but they just give it a name because it has certain qualities.
Right.
And the coffee ones are, in my opinion, pretty bad.
Yeah, you're not a big
it's
fan
just
of
not a combination that's very cohesive.
No.
To my palate, anyways. But here, let's try this. Delicious.
I'm usually a fan of either a lighter beer or a stout.
Lighter beer or a stout?
Yeah, that's usually.
So you're on one side or the other.
One side or the other, right?
Spectrum guy.
So
this one, a lot of fruit kind of flavor.
I was gonna say
you
it's
get a
got
lot of fermented fruit kind of taste.
Reminds me of a bit of the stuff that like kind of grapefruity almost.
Yeah.
I like it though. Like it's got that sort of like the fruitiness.
Yeah, it's good. And if we I'll read the description here. So this actually like this logo here, like you guys probably noticed that it's kind of a
like
cool and unique logo, but there's actually a purpose behind it. So I'll read the description here. Tag You're It is an intensely tropical and generously hopped IPA dreamt up by Big Spruce Brewing and the Ocean Tracking Network to support ocean conservation in Canada. As apex predators, great white sharks play a vital role in marine ecosystems. 50 cents from every can of this IPA go to the conservation and research efforts such as shark tracking to identify critical habitats, estimate population health, and better understand migratory and mating habits. This information is key to supporting recovery and conservation work for sharks and other vulnerable marine species. Tag Your It has raised more than $110,000 in 5 years to protect marine species and their habitats. And that's something we can all drink to.
Hi, quick editor's note. There were some technical difficulties we ran into, and we don't have the video for the next bit of the episode. We still have the audio, so I'm going to be including the audio in there. It's just going to be a still image of me and Hudson, because we lost the video because my phone is an asshole. But yeah, we don't have the video. Me and Hudson did go back and we recorded a bunch of extra, so that's why this episode is like really long. There'll be timestamps if you want to skip ahead. But otherwise, I encourage you to just listen to this part of the episode. And yeah, I hope you guys, I hope you enjoy. That's really cool.
So yeah, it's made in partnership with the Ocean Tracking Network.
Wow. Yeah, I mean that explains the crazy label.
Yeah, and it's really cool too. It catches the eye, right? I've multiple times I've been kind of drinking this out with my friends and stuff, and mutual friends have been like, "What the hell is that can?"
Yeah.
That looks crazy, but it's a cool can. It's a good beer, and it supports a good cause, so it's hard to pass up on that one.
I mean, $110,000, that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, yeah.
That's really cool.
And I mean, obviously, it's directly to the research efforts too, which obviously, as a scientist, I can sympathize with that. You know?
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. So I guess while we're finishing our beer here, I should probably talk more about what I actually do and stuff.
Yeah, man. I mean, you were we've met last year.
Yeah.
Through physics.
Yeah.
That's when I was still a physics major.
Although I think we met before. I think we've met before that, but I don't think we really talked that much. I think I distinctly remember one night in Mac, we actually talked in first year, at the end of first year. And we were just jibbing about physics, and I was like, yeah, I might switch into physics.
Oh, holy shit.
Yeah, I just recovered this.
Oh my god. Oh yeah. That was St. Patrick's Day.
It might have been. We were pretty fucking drunk though, that's for sure.
Yes, it was. Oh my god. Oh, I'd forgotten about that. Wow.
Yeah, and then so in my second year, I did the first semester doing basically just engineering courses because I was still a bit on the fence with physics and math.
Right.
And then second semester I switched into physics, physics and engineering. And so we had one semester overlap there where we were both in physics at the same time. So that's kind of when we started really becoming friends and hanging out.
A lot of was modern labs and
Modern labs, math phys labs.
yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of that, man. And that's where it was, and it was a lot of the what is out there in the physics room that it was.
The
second
old
year one.
physics room.
Man, there's been a lot of names for that room thrown around.
Yeah.
No one seems to be able to nail it down, what to call it.
Baker's Corner.
Baker's Corner is a popular one. I've heard it be called the bakery before.
The bakery.
The bakery's kind of wild.
What was it? There was another one that was like the mini tank or something like that.
Yeah.
That one was not very creative, but...
No. But no, because we'd spend a lot of time in there just getting some work done.
Yeah.
Especially around exams, like the end of that year.
Yeah.
It was a whole lot.
I think me and you were two of the like biggest frequent flyers in that room for sure.
Yeah, man, I had probably almost all of the work I did in second year was done in that room. Like, there's some stuff that I would do back in McIsaac, but like
I imagine you're not
my
gonna
art
get
project,
much
I
done,
guess.
right?
Like I know when I had like a big sheets of paper that just wouldn't have fit in the desks in there, I was able to hijack the lounge and work on those. But yeah, most of the time we were in there and we were just ripping some good old physics.
Yeah, so anyways, after that semester,
I think we just had a power flicker.
did we?
But that's kind of crazy. I hope we don't lose power. I mean, if we lose power, it's no big deal. We'll be able to get going.
That would be an interesting episode.
Yeah, no, the lamp over there just it flickered.
Flickered, yeah, I noticed that.
And then the fridge just stopped making noise.
Yeah, let's hope. Fingers crossed, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So in the summer after my second year, I decided to do like summer research.
Mm-hmm.
So I stayed in Antigonish all summer and did research with one of the professors in the math department that was teaching my differential equations and linear algebra class in second year. And from that, I kind of decided, you know what, I think I'll, put my best foot forward and kind of switch into like physics and math and focus really on that. And so I kind of landed on doing a joint honors in physics and math, while still completing like the engineering courses.
Right, because probably how much you had completed for the engineering courses probably didn't have too many.
Yeah, like
left to do. Like
I have 2 or 3 courses left to finish up my engineering degree.
You're gonna be able to do that in the 4 years, are you? Or are you gonna be?
Yep.
That's
that's
a lot.
With a little bit of splicing here and there,
I imagine that's a.
Gotta take some summer courses.
Yeah.
And I'll be doing research again this summer. And Carson, hopefully you'll be.
Hopefully I'll be here.
Working your
IT.
One of your jobs there at IT.
Yeah, I got the
good.
first interview for that coming up this week.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, I'm excited with that. I think that'll be a really good time. It's an interesting format they got going on. It says it's like. Sent me an email and they were like, no, it's in person, but they sent me an email and they're like, you have an interview, sign up here and pick a time slot. And I opened it up and there's like 100 time slots.
Wow.
Or there's just like, well, not 100, but there's a lot of time slots and they're all just like 10 minutes. And so I don't know what I'm going to do, get in and out in 10 minutes, just a little.
So I imagine like...
It's probably just a preliminary get to know you.
Yeah. Like I imagine they do a lot of like... work on like the network infrastructure.
That's
in the summer.
So there's 2 things going on. So there's the help desk stuff. Mm-hmm. So that's the help desk at the library where you're just going around and someone will come up and be like, I don't know what I'm doing, and you'd be like, I did. And so you give them a hand. And then the other and then there's also one where you go around the school and help people with the same thing. But then there's another one that's more of a project based stuff.
Yeah.
So that's the network. So you're going around, you're upgrading systems, you're changing things out, and you're still doing a little bit of the helping, but you're mostly just helping improve the school's IT infrastructure.
Yeah, and God knows they need it.
Yeah, there's some times that it's been a little lacking,
yeah.
I know I had a quiz here in Superheroes on Friday morning, and that was slow to get going. Like, the internet was chugging there today, because that's in the big auditorium in Mall.
Oh,
So all you can hear is just the people just clicking away on their laptops, just
trying to
like
get it going.
hitting the same thing over and over because
Yeah, I'll
it's
tell you
not
what.
working.
I always hated that when you had to go in class and then pull your computer out and get on the quiz, right?
Yeah, it's a little annoying. I don't mind it for this class though. It's a 5-question
We had to
multiple
do that in
choice.
Calc 1.
Oh really?
Yeah, Calc 1 and 2. We had to do that.
Man, for my calc quizzes 1 and 2, those were all on paper,
Yeah.
so that was nice.
You had
Abdullah,
Abdullah. You had Abdullah.
beauty,
Yeah.
love that guy.
Love
He's
Abdullah.
great.
You know, Abdullah is a great guy.
He's super friendly. Like, always give him a wave whenever you're around, and he always he remembers your name somehow, and
Yeah.
no, he's great.
The only time I've ever really spoken to Abdullah in any type of capacity at all, really, is at this recent integration competition for first and second year students.
Right.
So basically, the reason that I was there is because before they had a differential equations competition for like some of the upper year students, and it was kind of like an ad hoc kind of competition. It wasn't really like anything.
Yeah.
There was no prizes or anything. It was just kind of to show the Calc 1 and 2 students kind of what to look forward to if they want to continue with math.
Right.
So we did that. It was a shit show. So I was the closest, but I didn't get it right.
Wow.
So I technically won, but I didn't get the equation right, and I don't know. It was just a bit of pressure because there was like 100, like fucking first year like it was a lot of first year students. Probably not 100, maybe like 60 or 70.
That's still a lot of people.
Yeah. And then like all the profs were there too as well. After that, I had gotten a conversation with Dr. Finbo, my real analysis teacher, about like this midterm question that I had lost points for this question, and I didn't really understand why. And real analysis is a class where everything's kind of based on proofs, so you're like writing proofs to using logical arguments to show that this mathematical thing is true.
Right.
And so my proof used kind of a more alternate abstract definition. It's basically proving stuff about continuous functions, but mine used like a more abstract definition with like sequences. And so me and Dr. Finbo were talking about it, and he was kind of going back and forth with me, kind of saying that what I did was wrong, but he couldn't elaborate as much as I would have liked. So he kind of called over Abdullah, and Abdullah was talking to me, and this is actually a funny story. This is why I bring this up. Abdullah initially he was like, "Yeah, like Hudson, I'm sorry, you're wrong. Like like that doesn't completely show what you needed to show." And I was like, "Oh damn, like whatever." And so Abdullah he leaves for a second there, and he's like walking out the door, and then he comes running back like 2 minutes later, and he was like, wait, you actually are correct, but maybe you should have shown a little bit more work. Like I kind of skipped some logical steps, which at the time I just didn't. I was just on a test jotting down.
Yeah, just in the zone.
Shit,
going.
Yeah. Anyways, that was my kind of first solid interaction with Abdullah.
Yeah, Abdullah's certainly the kind of guy to do that. He's real enthusiastic guy. But man, that's funny. Just really going for it.
Yeah, so I guess we should. Okay, so now, we're both in our third year.
Yeah.
Second semester, and I've been doing like the math and physics thing, and I've been really enjoying it. And I think next summer I'm also going to do research again.
Nice.
And all the kind of research efforts go towards like the thesis project, right? Mm-hmm. So I've been kind of trying to deliberate at this point what my thesis project is actually going to be on, because I have a bit of freedom now. So my professor or my supervisor, he he does like mathematical cosmology, and gravity research.
Okay.
Basically, so he just basically working with the mathematics behind like explaining gravity and stuff like that, which can be complicated at times. But there's a lot of different avenues for research, and before was when he was paying me out of his own funding, so he was kind of more inclined to get me to do this specific project. But now I actually secured my own funding this year.
That's nice.
So I'm able to have a little bit more freedom with what I actually want to do. So.
And that's going to be working towards your thesis. So your thesis, you don't need to have two for math and for physics. That'd be crazy.
No. For the joint honors program, there's no kind of restrictions on your thesis. Like, it's the same as if you're doing an honors physics thesis. So it depends on which one's your science A.
Right, because you still have to pick one, even though it's a joint.
Yep. And tell you the truth, really the only reason that I didn't have math as my science A is just because the math program at this school is a little lacking compared to the physics program. But
no, I think the physics program at X is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, your teachers are great. The community of people in it is great.
Yeah, the community is really great. That's
like
one thing.
I remember before I came to X, I attended this online meeting, and it was with, God, I think it was with Marsland. And it was Marsland and whoever was the head of the physics society at the time, and she was saying that it was just a great community of people, and it sounds like a standard thing that they say, like yeah, it's great, come to X, come to X, come to X,
Yeah.
So I didn't really give any thought of
Join
it,
the cult.
Yeah, join the cult. But she was right.
Yeah.
And the group of people is incredible, because I feel like not a lot of departments do what we would do, where we like all day we're in and out of the tank, and we're working on stuff together, and then every couple weekends or so we're going out together and we're doing stuff, and like I know the girls, they're all going for brunch tomorrow, and
they are.
Yeah, and like the guys will get together beforehand and we'll all we'll make some burgers and we'll do some stuff, and I think it's
they must have felt a little left out.
Yeah, I guess they're like, well, we got to do our own thing.
We gotta make like a physics meal, like all together.
Yeah.
And get everyone included, because I feel like the Bergs, we've been strictly kind of doing it with just like I guess because we just invited like Harry and Dylan and Nevin here, but we should get everybody in on that.
I think it'd be great to do something big like that. I don't know where we'd do it. I think it'd be really interesting to do like a potluck, maybe do it in the tank.
Do it in a potluck in the tank. Yeah. That is crazy. That would be a wild time, dude.
And then we could just do it there, because I know we got into some shenanigans last year with a little bit of a barbecue.
Yeah, and I've been saying this for a while now. I'm a huge proponent of the Tank IPA.
The Tank IPA.
A Tank IPA.
I know you say
cures all issues.
Yeah, you could be stuck on a problem and you just can't get past it, and you pop over to your little mini fridge and just
grab a little Tank IPA.
Crack an IPA.
Yeah, just doing some, electromagnetic theory, and then you're sitting there and you're like, damn, like fucking, which way is the magnetic field pointing? Like, god damn it.
Yeah, you're doing the finger thing,
Crack
and you're like,
Tank
which way is it going?
and you're good to go. Like,
man,
you just see clearly now.
Yeah, no, the physics crowd, they're great.
Yeah, they are.
It's always a lot of fun.
Yeah. Speaking of IPAs, I don't know if are you done there? Or?
Yeah, I got a sip left.
Okay, sip that then.
Now let's see this one doesn't explode all over the place. Oh,
yeah,
there we
so
go.
This one is a double IPA.
So she's strong, this one.
It's stronger, yeah. And this one is also very fruity.
Okay.
But this one has a bit more of like a bitterness to it as well.
Okay.
Which is
It's not always bad. Like
it's usually not, usually bitter means bad, but in this case I think it really adds to the flavor, like in terms of like the depth of flavor.
All right.
Keep on accidentally giving you a little less than me, but
That's all right. All right, let's see. It has a similar smell.
Yeah, it's very similar. This one's a lot stronger.
I think this one definitely has a more of a fruitier, at least just the initial smell.
Yeah.
This one seems a bit fruitier.
So this one actually has kind of a funny. Yeah, this is a really wacky.
This one's called the juicy.
This is called the Juicy Double IPA, and
Nice.
let me read this description here.
Yeah.
It says, "Get dank, hoppy, and lusciously tropical with this hop-soaked East Coast double IPA. Juicy waves of mango, tangerine, and pineapple without the bitterness." That's not true. It's to be fair though, it's not as bitter as a typical double IPA is.
Okay. Ooh. Yeah, it certainly has that little bit of a bitter,
Yeah.
but it still has. I do think I like that one a little bit more.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, in terms of like bang for your buck, this is really pretty good.
I mean, that's an 8%.
This is an 8%,
Like
and this is like a $5 beer, and this is 473 milliliters. As far as beers go, like that's a solid deal, man.
Yeah, I mean, like as like these cans go, like even if you're looking straight up this volume alcohol percentage, that 8% is probably the best you're gonna get in one of these.
Yep. I mean, you can get ones that are like, 9-10%, but they're kind of just
like you're not enjoying yourself at
yeah.
that point. Like, yeah, like you're getting something that's just.
Yeah. This is on probably the upper levels of what I would do in terms of percentage.
Okay.
And this one also has a pretty interesting color too. This is like,
it's like gold.
yeah, it's like golden,
kind of dark,
like maybe like a kind of like a rich
kind of honey looking.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty nice looking color, actually.
Yeah. Should have got clear mugs or glasses, but hey, what are you gonna do? We got to go with the classic double dipping mugs.
The classic double dipping mugs for the beers.
Like, it really goes along with the whole set.
Yeah.
Everything.
Anyways, at this point, we should probably.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking.
We should probably get into some guac here. I mean,
guac.
we've been talking about it, and I guess I'll move these beers. You go ahead. You try.
We
it first,
went with the scoops.
Yeah, so I went with the scoops today, and I'm not usually a scoops guy either. I just kind of, for this application, I thought, why not, right? I think it works well.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what I remembered.
Exactly what you remembered from the guac.
A little spicier though. You were right.
A little spicier. Yeah,
you had said that before we started that it was a little bit spicier. You were sneezing a little bit because of a bit of the pepper we had going on, but
yeah,
that's good.
Yeah,
man, no, it does have a kick. That's a positive though. I mean, I'm liking the guac.
Certainly in my eyes, that's like a top tier dip. And
yeah.
It's really up there. Not 100% sure if it's my favorite dip.
No.
But
what would you say it is?
I would say okay, so I'm not 100% sure what actually is my favorite dip. I'm just not sure that it's this.
Right.
But because I made this and because it's such like a kind of a thing that people are aware of among at least our friend group.
Yeah.
I figured, what better dip to bring on than, Huddy's guac.
That's true.
That's the classic.
Yeah. I mean, I know this. I'm going to get I haven't thought of the title for this episode yet, but I feel like we're going to need to get guac in the title.
You get guac in the title.
Yeah. Because
beer and guac,
man. I think that's That's great, because you'd seen the episode, would have been episode 2, where my roommate Murray, he brought on a couple of beers that his girlfriend works at a brewery, Kira, actually. Next week, that'll be Kira's episode. And she worked at a brewery over the summer. And so she had some beers that she had, and we tried those, and you thought that was a great idea, and I was like, bring them on. So
Yeah. How were those, by the way?
those beers?
Yeah.
One of them was not good.
One of them was not good.
No, but she said that the beer we didn't like was their biggest seller.
Really?
Which I'm like, that's fucked. Like, it was not good. And then the other one we really liked. It was like a rice beer.
And that was like their bottom shelf.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we love that
rice
one.
beer.
So, yeah, it was good. It was all like Super Mario themed, the can.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, no, that's kind of cool, actually.
That was great.
I don't think I've ever had a rice beer.
It's not very different, but I don't know. There's something about it that's really good. Yeah. I mean, the guac never fails.
It doesn't. I don't think it does. And I think we need to have more opportunities to use this guac. Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like your idea with the potluck, though. That's kind of a cool.
I think that'll be, because that's something that pretty much everybody could do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to imagine, nobody lives in any of the smaller residence buildings anymore. Everybody's either out in their own apartment or in, like some of the bigger ones where they got the, kitchens and such. So, it's totally something that can be done.
Yeah. Everybody just brings like a little dish.
Man, what would I bring? Oh.
What would you bring?
I'd bring my signature dish.
What's your signature dish?
Chicken penne Alfredo.
Chicken penne Alfredo.
Yep.
Nice.
Um,
Do you run it in like a casserole style and put like cheese on top? Or
no, I don't. I'm not going to share the recipe. Just because there's one person who desperately wants the recipe. So I'm not going to reveal the recipe.
Yeah.
But it's a one pot dish, so I put all the ingredients in and, cook it up with that. It's really interesting. Like, it's not like I get a jar of Alfredo to put it in. You make the Alfredo sauce with like a mixture of a bunch of different things.
Yeah. Of course.
It's it's really good, and I just made it the other day, just last Sunday, I believe, and I'm out of the stuff to make it now, but yeah, I mean that's certainly that's what I would do.
It'll be in
Yeah,
a little while from now until we get.
and I feel like once
on the road,
eventually, I'll reveal the recipe and. Maybe I'll do a little bit of double dipping cooking. But,
double dipping cooking.
Yeah.
Oh wow, dude, that
could be a fun little spin-off.
Yeah, I'm jealous of whoever gets the double dipping cooking, dude.
Yeah, man, I think that'll be probably. You know what? I'd probably end up doing it with the person who wants the recipe.
And just like let him have it.
Just let him go and just
see
be
if
like,
they can pull it off. You give them.
Imagine
give them
just give them the recipe
and let them
get them do it. Oh, that would be fun.
Or you should.
I don't know if they'd be down for that, actually.
You should just like write the recipe down and give it to them, and then like get them to record their own video.
Oh my god! I think it'd be so fun to do it here because the kitchen's just right over there,
yeah.
And have me film the whole thing with the tripod and
just don't tell them any tips.
Don't
or anything. Just like give them a sheet of paper with the recipe on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give them everything they need. I'll give them the proper instructions and everything, but I think that would be a wonderful idea. Because I also don't know if they'd want to do a regular episode of the podcast, but I think for that, they'd be down.
They'd run it up.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, double dipping cooking, that sounds like an extravaganza for sure.
Yeah. And then, I've only talked about it off camera, but eventually we're going to be doing the episodes where it's not just me and another person.
The multi-dipping.
The multi-dipping. I don't know if it's going to be called that. I don't know if I've had a name for it yet.
The first episode's definitely got to be called triple dipping.
Triple dipping is clearly that's what it has to be.
It's just begging for it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know. This is episode 7. Maybe, you know what? I'll say it. Episode 10 of Double Dipping is going to be triple dipping.
It's gonna be triple dipping.
I'm saying that right now. That's what it's going to be.
I mean, fuck. If you need a triple dipper,
it's going to be triple dipping, and we're going to change it up. We're not going to do it at the table. We'll see. Maybe if it's nice out, we'll do it on the deck.
I mean, you're talking so much about the tank, in these episodes, right?
You're right. I think the tank would be a great place to do it.
The viewers have got to see the tank.
Over the summer, I think the tank is going to be the right place to do it.
Yeah, over the summer, I think.
But I think...
Because imagine if we're filming a thing of double dipping and just like Marison just comes in. Marison just spawns in the tank.
Oh my god.
And he's like, what is this apparatus?
Man, that would be fun. I think for the first episode of Triple Dipping, I think I'd want to do my roommates. Because they won't be here over the summer. So if this is episode 7, yeah, I mean, we're still going to be here in 3 weeks. So
yeah.
I mean, I think that would be... Shit, is that Easter weekend?
That
might be.
I don't know.
Because it's the last weekend of March, so... Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
Well, we'll record it ahead of time. That's what we did. The last episode... No... Episode 5...
The last 2 episodes since you recorded.
Episode 3, 4, and 5. Which
recorded
was...
on the same day.
We're recording on the same day.
Damn.
That was a crazy day. Because that was... It was weird to see them come out. Because I'm like... when the last one came out, I'm like, yeah, I did this 2 weeks ago. So it was, like, outdated. Certainly, like... And I'm not a huge fan of recording them ahead of time. Because especially, if something's happened, then you could talk about it.
And then we are recording this the day before.
Yeah, so this
it's gonna be
usually it's the day before, and that they try to come out on the noon at Sunday.
Noon Sunday.
I don't know if anybody caught it, but I accidentally fucked up and released Jacqueline's episode noon on Saturday. I did it early.
Noon on Saturday.
I accidentally did it a little bit early because I had it edited and I had it thrown into the
and it was an accident?
YouTube thing. Yeah, I just put the wrong date in. Because I can schedule when it releases.
Oh, I see.
So I just put the wrong date in. And I thought, I got the notification because I had set it up for a premiere. And it's like, the premiere started. And I was like, it shouldn't be doing that. And then I went and I changed the date, but I guess it didn't
didn't work. Oops.
So some people, who had their notifications on, because I didn't post about it that day or anything, they would have saw Jacqueline's episode early.
I think I saw a bit of Jacqueline's... did you stream... it might have been Harry's episode. Mm-hmm. I think you streamed them all. Mm-hmm. No? Just Harry's?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I seen Harry's on stream. Jacqueline was actually watching in the tank with
me.
Me.
She was saying that you were in the tank.
Just to procrastinate doing any...
actual
work.
Whenever there's something going on, you're always looking for an excuse to procrastinate. I think that's certainly something the tank does really well, is procrastinate. When we're all in the zone doing work done, we're getting work done. Otherwise, we're just not. But
one spark fuels the fire, big time.
Yeah.
In terms of the jib.
I find there's a lot of that, especially Matt coming in and being like, yo, who wants to go to Bloom? That's... Yeah.
Yeah. And I imagine most people watching know about Bloom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What a classic muck spot on campus,
yeah. We ranked almost all the restaurants and places
in
Antigonish this week.
Kinda.
We did that this week, and... I can't remember where Bloom landed on the list.
We so we did a full kind of comprehensive
we didn't
rating and ranking.
It was very objective. We didn't want to, take our own opinions into it too much, which was especially important when we got into the pizza.
Yeah, I was trying to kind of referee it a little bit because there were some strong feelings in the pizza category.
So, because usually you're a wheelie, you're a Kenny's.
And maybe you can put up the listing.
I'll put up the list. It'll be there. And then, yeah. But we landed on wheel for number one.
We landed on wheel for number 1.
But that was close.
There was a lot of deliberation there, and you know,
'Cause
I like the wheel and I like Kenny's. On a given day, I tend to lean towards Kenny's just because like versatility.
Yeah.
Like I tend to order a couple different things, right? I usually don't even order pizza there, so I don't know. You know.
Yeah, but that's something that we
were
really
kinda-
narrowed down
yeah,
because we were looking at the pizza places and we're looking at them for their pizza and their garlic fingers.
Yeah.
Those are the two staples. You know, if you're out on a Friday night and you're coming home from the pub and then you're stopping, because you're always stopping for pizza.
Yeah, you're grabbing a slice. Like that's a non-negotiable.
Yeah. No, when we made bingo cards the last time we all went out to see what was going to happen, and the free space was get pizza. So,
Yeah.
you know, you're going in. So we just looked at the pizza and the garlic fingers, and it was close because there was arguments.
There was arguments, man. Like
Because it
it was getting a little heated there for a minute, dude. We were like kind of voices a little bit raised, and I was kind of just trying to say, okay, you know, if anyone wants to present an argument, you got to put it in terms of the categories, right?
exactly.
Like you can't just say, you know, I like Kenny's
what were our
more, so
categories?
that's-
We had it was versatility, convenience, cost, taste,
and vibes.
and vibes.
Yeah.
So Wheel took the vibes, and that was pretty much unanimous. I think that was the only thing that was certainly unanimous across the board.
Yeah.
Was
The vibes of the wheel definitely unanimous just comparing it to Kenny's. So I mean, and I'm not gonna lie, I think that Forno's is a bit of a Like I still
no,
think,
I would agree with you.
I think that Forno's got undersold in terms of vibes. I think they really got shafted in the vibes.
I've never been there, but
category.
you know what? I think for me, their vibe actually just went down. So last night I ordered in some Forno.
Huh.
I got a little Panzerotti. I tell you, if you were looking, $11.
Actually,
And
and some foreign sauce in it too.
It's pretty. Yeah, I mean, it's great. But what I was calling them, Will had come home and he was like, "You ripping some Forno?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "But the pizza fucks, they forgot my sauce."
No.
So I had to call back and be like, "You didn't give me my dipping sauce." So for me, that does take the vibe down a little bit,
And what did they say?
and they were like,
Fuck.
"No," because it wasn't even like, "Oh, we're sorry." They were like, "What?" And I was like, "You forgot my dipping sauce." And they're like, "Hold on." So someone else comes on the phone, and I'm like, and they're like, "Hey, how you doing?" I was like, "Good, good." And they're like, "So you didn't get what you ordered?" And I was like, "No, because you pay for the extra dipping sauce."
Oh yeah.
Right? So I had dropped like an extra,
But did it was
like
on your
$6 on it was, and I had already paid for it. I just didn't get it. So I was like, yeah. So like, you just didn't bring the dipping sauce. I got a pizza sauce and I got a garlic sauce, and they were like, you got it. We'll give you the 2 small donair sauces, and I was like, you didn't listen to what I actually just said. I got 2 4-ounce, not the 2-ounce, a pizza and a garlic, and they're like, got it, garlic donair. No,
garlic
and pizza. And they're like, right, we'll get right on that, we'll send it. I mean, they showed up like 5 minutes later,
Oh,
but
and you got your sauce,
and I got my sauce
for free.
for free. Well, not for free, I paid for it.
Well, yeah, okay, I see. Yeah, not for free, but like they didn't make you pay. Like, yeah, I get what you mean. They trusted you.
Yeah, and so
And you know
I
what?
got my
That's
sauce,
something.
and
That's something to be
you know what they did? They
recognized.
did trust, and they recognized that
know.
they had made a mistake, and that's good. So you know what? Maybe the vibe that is neutral.
I think that's net, you know, neutral on the vibes,
Yeah.
right? Because I mean, if you did that at like Kenny's or something, they'd probably be like, "No, you fucking got your sauce."
Yeah, like I feel like you did that at Kenny's or the Wheel, they'd be like, "Sorry," and then hang up.
Yeah.
Like, but I will give it to them for that.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never had a bad experience ordering delivery on Fornos, I don't think.
No, me neither. I don't think. I think my favorite experiences for delivery have come from the Wheel. Just because you always got some really enthusiastic person who doesn't make any sense of why they're so like bringing you their pizza.
Yeah, it's like,
But
why
then-
are you so happy to bring me?
Yeah, it's like
pie right
what's
now?
going on. Then they bring you the pizza and that's it. And yeah, I mean, I was about to say all the pizza places in town are good, but that's not true.
Yeah, that's probably not true, man. Like,
I mean, I don't want to throw out. My own opinion is I'm not a Kenny guy, right?
not a Kenny's guy.
No. So my thing is back in first year, I got Kenny's. In our X-Fest kids, we all got Kenny's coupons. So I went and I got some Kenny's, right? Who's going to pass up on a pizza coupon? Not this guy. So I went, I got my pizza, and it was fine. You know, I just got a regular pepperoni, because at the time, that's what I was rocking with. That was my fave. So I got the pepperoni, and the pepperoni itself, I hated it. It wasn't, like, I usually like a little bit, I like a crunchy pepperoni. Like, that's me.
Yep.
And then I also, I like, I don't know, there's a specific pepperoni taste I enjoy.
Yeah.
And
like a nice salty cured pepperoni taste.
that's the one. Kenny's does not have that kind of pepperoni.
No. Yeah, it's like more like a fucking bologna style pepperoni.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it
lacking
is.
flavor.
Like you've just got it at like the deli at Sobeys, and the buddy's just like sliced it off. Yeah, like that's what it was, and I just wasn't about that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and ever since then I was just like, I'm not really big on the Kenny's, and then I go and I get some pep at the Wheel, and I was like, now this is what I'm looking for.
I'd have to say though, with our ranking, I think the most interesting category, besides pizza, obviously, probably be breakfast, because I think there was a lot of like mixed kind of views on breakfast.
There was opinions on.
There was a lot of Snow Queen breakfast type.
Because we talked about the breakfast category, and I'll pop the thing back up on screen now. But I haven't been to vast majority of those places for breakfast.
Yeah, I feel as though a Snow Queen was high, and yeah, it has good breakfast, but I think that it's almost better for its like lunch things.
Well, I haven't been to the Snow Queen. That's something that I've had on my list to do, and I know it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I gotta go because while I'm here over the summer, I'll definitely have more time.
We plan to kind of
we're gonna use that list as a checklist
to kind of go through the best restaurants,
and we'll see. Try to go to every restaurant for every meal that they're open for and that they sell. So we'll hit up Snow Queen. We'll do it for its breakfast. We'll do it for its lunch. Or are they open late for supper?
I think they're open relatively late. I think they close at like 6 or 7 or something.
That's not really encouraging supper.
It's not.
So I think we'll just hit that.
It's not like a dinner
lunch.
Place at all.
No.
I don't think.
Well, dinner places are usually more of a breakfast, like not a breakfast, but like a sit down place.
Well, I mean, Snow Queen's like a sit down place,
right? But like more, it's more like you're going to a Boston Pizza or like a fucking something like that.
I get what you mean.
Where there's like a hostess. And shit.
And you like take the orders. And stuff.
Yeah.
Snow Queen, you have to order at the front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only heard good things about it.
I mean, it's good. I wouldn't say that it is in like the upper echelon of restaurants in general in Antigonish.
Okay.
It's definitely on that border between kind of the mid and upper echelon. But it's good.
I mean,
you go there for a meal and you're not going to leave dissatisfied.
Well, that's really what you're looking for. Yeah, I mean,
it's not going to blow you away though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
In my opinion, at least.
Well, I'll be looking to try it out.
It's worth a try for sure.
Yeah. Well, I wonder what it'd be like. And then there's a lot of places I haven't been to. Like I haven't made it out to Mother Webb's and.
Have you ever had Mother Webb's like in general?
No. I almost went a couple weeks ago when my dad was in town. But he didn't have much time, so we weren't able to get out there.
It's good.
I mean, I know Dylan loves it.
It's kind of, for me, it's kind of high on the vibes. I kind of like the vibes of
Mother
Webb's.
I know Lydia was saying some shit the other day.
She loves Mother Webs. I think she was one of the...
She said she liked Mother Webs, but she was saying that the vibe was a little weird. She wasn't the biggest fan of that.
You know, like, it's...
It is what it is, though.
It's hard to explain, really. It's kind of... It's almost that vibe where you actually, like... It's, like, kind of like a shitty vibe, but it's... because it's kind of shitty...
It's, like, homey a little bit.
It's kind of, like, authentic, kind of, like, you know...
Yeah. Well, that is always, like, good. Like, when... Yeah.
It's just, like, the rural steakhouse vibe, pretty much.
No, I've been to a lot of those restaurants, and they're usually some of my favorites. Yeah. So, I think that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. Good vibes, good food. You know, the mother's best.
Yeah.
They give you like a free meal on your birthday, so like.
Oh yeah.
Back in first year, and so I stayed in MSB in first year. So a lot of my friends would go out to Mother Webs for the birthdays and stuff, and we'd try and get like so many people from MSB, and there was a couple times that like, you know, we'd have like, you know, multiple carloads of people coming from MSB to come to Mother Webs and like have like birthday dinners, and you know, it would be like such a great time, right? Because they, and you know, it's pretty cheap in terms of like drinks too.
Right.
Like they're nice with the drinks for sure.
Yeah, like I know we were talking about it like last semester, and we were talking about like what's the best place in town to drink, and I remember we landed on it being the bowling alley.
Best place in town to drink.
Cheapest.
Oh, cheapest.
Cheapest place to drink in town is the bowling alley.
Yeah, they have like $4 beers at the bowling alley or something like that.
It was less than that.
Really?
Yeah, no, that's great. Wow. And I remember we tried to go one time, but their
bowling
hours
alley after
all,
this?
Yeah, their hours were all weird. I remember where we were trying to go, but like they weren't open Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
You know what the thing that was when we tried to go, like as a group for the physics thing, called them and they were like, you know, we just short staffed. We don't have anyone to work tonight, so like you guys can't come. Damn. Or it wasn't tonight. It was like the next day or something like that.
But I think that's something we should definitely try to do.
Try and book some lanes.
Book some lanes in. Have a couple drinks.
More than a couple, but...
Oh, yeah. No. But... I think that'd be a good time.
Yeah.
Rip some bowling. Man. Bowling's always fun.
Bowling is always fun. Yeah.
I think...
Although the mini bowling here is a little whack.
Yeah. I mean, I always prefer the larger, full-sized bowling. But I feel like this mini bowling's not bad.
In first year, we had an engineering end-of-the-year event at the bowling alley.
Yeah.
And that was kind of fun, because we weren't focusing on the bowling, right? We were kind of just hanging out with people in the program and getting fucked up, so it's good.
No, I've been there twice before. I remember one time we just went, because we heard there was bowling in town, so we went. And then the other time we went, it was, my friend was a CA in McIsaac, and she had set it up as a program. So it was like, they had rented out the bowling alley, so anybody who lived in McIsaac could come and bowl for free. And it was all paid for through the student council, and everything was done like that. So we went, and just our friend group went, and no one else showed up.
Really?
So we were able to just bowl for free.
Just cranking the lanes.
It was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed that.
Whole bowling alley to yourself, pretty much, eh?
Yeah, not a penny spent that day.
Yeah.
Well, we had a couple drinks, but besides that,
not a penny spent on bowling. That's the important
nothing
thing.
spent on bowling.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And we need to get the physics department to set up something like that, for real.
Yeah, I mean, getting funding for stuff is...
Getting funding for anything is difficult, much less...
Bowling.
You know what I mean?
Imagine going to the chair and be like, hey man, so we want to go bowling. And I picture Marsland looking at you, giving... Like, he doesn't say anything, but he's got the look of...
He doesn't say anything, but
he's
he
got
has
the
look
get out of my office.
Are you fucking kidding me right now? Look.
Man, yeah. No, Marsland certainly.
And he's like, nope.
He's like, you could come. He's like, no.
Oh, if we told him he could come, like, he might, that might really butter him up a little bit.
Yeah, because we've been joking about that for a while. Like, we're going out and we're like, yo, do we invite the professors?
Yeah, so, Marsland actually had expressed interest once in the summer, to take the physics, like, students in the research room, right,
Yeah.
tank, out to Piper's to talk about, like, scheduling for classes.
I remember hearing
next
about that.
year.
Yeah.
And he never did it.
No, I remember him, like, I remember the day that it was supposed to be, but then he had to change it for some reason.
Yeah, he went to Germany, basically. Or, no, that was a different thing, actually. That was later on in the semester. I'm talking about in the summer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So in the summer, we went to Germany, and we didn't end up going to Piper's, but...
And he just left you guys here for a little while?
Yeah.
Who was he? Was he supervising many people, or just, like...
Just Dylan and Braden.
Right.
Yeah, so just two students. He has more now, I think. He's,
Wow.
3 students now. Yeah, he's got a full plate for sure.
I imagine that'll make it a little bit more difficult to fly
Yeah.
off to Germany this summer.
Yeah. My supervisor actually has, so he has 2 undergraduate students, me and one other, and also 2 graduate students who he supervises at Dalhousie.
Oh, wow.
One of which he co-supervises, I think, with another professor there. But yeah.
Wouldn't think that you'd be supervising people who are at different schools.
Yeah, so I think he is like an adjunct professor or something there. Like, so I don't know. There's some. Basically, there's not many people who focus on the area of research that my supervisor Robert is interested in.
Right.
So
He's sort of the guy.
for students whose projects kind of specialize at that area, they kind of say, okay, let's co-supervise with this guy because he knows a lot about this, right?
That makes sense. So, like, you can have someone at your own school who's, like, around, and then somebody who really knows their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. Yeah. Well, Huddy, I think we're gonna end her here.
Wrap her up.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I think that was it was a really good episode. At the end of each episode, we put the dips into the ranking.
We put the dips into the ranking?
Yeah. So right now, as the dip stands from bottom to top, you got Harry, guac, and salsa.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Sorry, not guac. Sorry, chips and salsa.
Okay, hold on.
Then you have Julia, chips, salsa, and sour cream. All right.
Okay.
Mixed together.
Yeah. Okay.
Then you have Jacqueline.
Okay.
She brought the it was the cookies and the icing, and then also Fun Dip.
Okay, that is pretty good.
And the Fun Dip was bad. It was off-brand Fun Dip.
It was off-brand Fun Dip?
Yeah, she found it at the dollar store.
Jacqueline.
Yeah, well, no, she tried. I'm gonna give her the credit that she did try. She liked it. I didn't. It tasted like crushed up rockets, and then the stick was just basically the same thing that the powder was made of. It was weird.
Interesting.
And then there was the current number 1 contender. The number 1 spot is Caden.
Okay.
So Caden he made a peanut sauce, and he brought dumplings from Lynn's.
Brought dumplings from Lynn's. Okay, I can't compete with that.
That was really good. And Huddy, I'm gonna need to put you in the 2 spot right now.
In the 2 spot.
So you beat out Jacqueline.
Okay.
I'm
happy with
it's
that.
the guac, but I don't know, like the
peanut sauce was just
the peanut sauce really opened my mind.
Yeah.
But I think this certainly it deserves a 2 spot, and I think this is gonna stick at the 2 spot for a very long time. Like I can't. I don't know what the next person's gonna bring. It should be Kira, and I don't know what she's gonna do, but I don't think it's gonna beat this.
Well, you know what? I'm happy to take a second place finish. That's That's all you can do really with the guac. I mean, come on, the dumplings from Lynn's go insane.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like if it was I don't know, it was just a mix, and then he had all of these like incredible ingredients that were very specific that he made the sauce, and yeah, like it was really good.
Sounds delicious.
It really was. I suggest going and watching the episode. He actually breaks down the recipe and everything.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Caden, watch out. I'm recreating this peanut sauce here.
But yeah, so thank you for coming, Hudson.
Yeah,
it was
no
it was great.
A lot of fun.
It was great to have you.
Awesome.
Yeah. Stop that.
Double dipping out.
Hi, it's me again. We're getting to the part where now you've listened to all of what we recorded and lost the video for. So now we're moving on. This is the part where we realized that it fucked up and we had to record more. So a lot of people probably jumped ahead to this point. I do suggest going back and listening to all that audio, but not gonna delay anymore. Enjoy. So Hudson's just gone to the bathroom. It only recorded the first 20 minutes, so we have 40 minutes of stuff that we have the audio for, but we don't have the video for. I'm going to include it. I'm going to put it at the end, after the outro. If you want to hear what we are talking about. But we lost that 40 minutes of footage. Fuck.
All right, let's think about what did we actually talk about.
So we only got the first 20 minutes. We got up until we tasted the first beer, I'm pretty sure.
The first beer?
So I sit down and I started it already.
You know what's a great thing about that? I brought a backup of the second beer.
You brought... Well, I still have some.
Well, I don't.
You don't? Okay. So I did preface that, because I started the recording again, and I prefaced that it only...
Let's do something like this.
It only recorded the first 20 minutes. And I'm going to include that last 20 minutes, just audio only.
It recorded the first 20 minutes?
Yeah. So I'm going to include that audio only. Like, I'm going to include it at the end, after the outro.
The audio from
the audio, yeah.
So it's going to technically be like an hour and 40 minute.
Yeah. Like, it's going to be a while.
That's okay. Special double dipping with Huddy.
That's going to be a special double dipping. We're going to do a little bit extra here.
Yeah. A double dipping on the deck, though, would go crazy.
I think a double dipping out on the deck would be really cool.
Yeah.
So the beer.
Get into the beer. Is it recording now?
Yeah, like we're going. We've tasted the beer.
We have.
But we're gonna taste more of the beer.
For you guys.
As if we've never tasted it before.
Do you want to refill on the beer? Or?
Yeah, I'll get a little bit more.
Give her a top up.
And then, well, no, I can't touch the dip now because
we're all out of whack.
We're all out of whack here.
So for the hardcore double dipping fans,
they're gonna listen to the audio.
They're gonna listen to the audio.
You know, that's what I suggest. If you're not gonna, a lot of people who are like, it's a long video. I'm not gonna sit and I'm gonna watch this long video, and I'm like, don't.
Just listen.
Like, throw it in one tab, turn it on, go do something else. Listen to it. It's a podcast.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we're doing. You get the little bit of the extra when you can actually see us.
So did I read this yet?
No, they didn't get you reading the...
Okay, so this is kind of funny, so I'm going to read that.
Yeah.
So this is the Garrison Juicy Double IPA. And this is our second beer. Well, technically it's our third beer.
It's the second beer.
It's the second type of beer, yeah.
Yeah, second type of beer. Sorry.
And so the first one was an IPA, the second one is a double IPA, and this one actually kind of has a little funny description. And I did say that this one is a little more bitter than the last one.
Yeah.
But the description actually says that it isn't bitter, but...
It's wrong.
In terms of a double IPA, like, it's not very bitter, but...
It's not as bitter as it could be.
In terms of a regular beer, it's kind of bitter. Anyways, it says, get dank, hoppy, and lusciously tropical with this hop-soaked East Coast double IPA. Juicy waves of mango, tangerine, and pineapple without the bitterness. I mean, that's,
I mean, the mango, tangerine, pineapple. I mean, I
It's
feel the
hard to
pineapple
pick it
more
out.
than anything else.
It's hard to pick it out, but I think
I get the pineapple. I don't know if I get the mango or the tangerine.
it's hard to pick it out. I feel like it's just a lot of kind of... It's like a jumble of fermented fruit flavors.
Yeah. You know, Huddy, I gotta take a mad piss. So I'm gonna do that. I think we're gonna keep it rolling,
We're going to keep it rolling.
and you just fucking talk some crazy shit on.
All right, well, don't mind if I do. And I actually brought another beer because you can never bring enough beers to Carson's house. And this one's actually, it's probably my favorite. These two, I feel like these are, they're pretty tasty. This one is a little more of an acquired taste, but I think that for me at least, it's definitely up there in the upper echelon of beers, so to speak. So while Carson is gone, I will try this beer and I'll let you know how it tastes. And we're going no mug on this one. Because fuck it. So the description on this beer is...
Oh shit! You pulled out another beer.
Yeah, so I was doing a little monologue here.
Yeah.
Talking about this beer, which is actually probably my favorite one.
Okay.
And I'll let you try it, but this one's a little... it's a little more of like an acquired taste, but it definitely has a lot of grapefruit kind of hit to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll read the description here. This citrusy IPA was named after the largest natural giant ever recorded. He'd deadlift anchors to pass the time.
Anchors.
Yep. Raise a pint and test your strength. So, this is called Breton Brewing's Black Angus. It's a 6.2% IPA. And it's made in Cape Breton, which up until the point of the recording, I'm not sure if I mentioned this or not, but I'm from Inverness, Cape Breton.
Yeah.
So this beer is a little further away than this brewery, but this brewery is probably my favorite in Cape Breton. I would have to say it's close, but I'd have to give it to this one. So I'm gonna take a sip here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of grapefruit.
Yeah.
It's delicious. It's good beer.
Ooh. Yeah, it does have the grapefruitiness to it. I like it. That's a good one. Whoa.
Oh, you know what? When you left, I totally...
You just had some dip?
Yeah.
All right, so...
Okay, so I broke the code of double dipping.
It's okay. Because, well, technically you didn't.
Technically, I didn't.
Because there's 40 minutes.
There's 40 minutes
There's over 40 minutes.
of zero camera footage,
Yeah.
just me and Carson jibbing.
So they're gonna... I think we'll do like a still pose here. And then I'll just put that still pose over...
Sounds good.
Yeah, so let's just look directly at the camera.
Just...
So now when you go and you watch that part, you're going to stare directly into our souls for a little while.
That's not
But-
creepy at all.
We had the dip. Dip was good. I mean, it's Hudson's Guac. That's what we talked about. It's really good. I suggest going and watching that part. But we ended up with the ranking of putting this at number 2.
We put this at number 2.
Yeah. I mean, this is good. I mean, I could still give you such a genuine reaction because that's just so good.
Yeah, it's a good guac. And I'm always trying to, like, improve my recipes, right? Because, I mean, this is a very, very simple dip to make.
I've made guacamole before. It's not a very hard thing to do.
Like,
But it can be very good.
it's super easy to make. Like, I mean, this is, let's see. Like, not including seasonings, this is like a 5-ingredient guac. Like, it takes, like 30 minutes to prepare like this guac
Let's
from
just see if I
start
can
to finish.
You figure out what we got going on here by taste.
Okay.
So clearly avocado,
Clearly avocado, yes.
onion, red onion.
Red onion, yes.
Yeah. There's a pepper. Serrano.
Serrano, yeah. I'm too predictable.
There's a bit of these red flakes here that I'm seeing.
Ah, you caught me. Yeah. I put a little chili flake in this one.
Okay.
Or a little, actually, crushed red pepper, but... It's kind of good with the crushed red pepper. I like it. I didn't have that last time.
There's got to be garlic in there.
Yeah, there's garlic in there.
Yeah. I'm missing an ingredient. Because I only got 4.
Well, yeah, but...
The pepper, the onion, the avocado, the garlic.
The ingredient that you're missing really meshes with the avocado.
I know this.
It's,
let me get another taste.
It's almost like a seasoning for the avocado, pretty much. It's to... If I tell... Okay, so if I tell you what... Okay, he'll get it, I think.
Lime juice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what I do is I take a lime and I kind of like cut up the inside so that it's like super like the juice is like free flowing.
Yeah.
And then I like kind of like scrape out a little bit of the pulp.
Okay.
And I kind of just squeeze all the onion or all the lemon juice or lime juice onto the guac, and it ends up being solid.
That's really good. I've had I've made guac before in the past, and yeah, I think didn't do the serrano peppers. Did some cilantro.
Cilantro is a big one for guac, but I'll tell you something. Some people actually have a gene that makes cilantro actually taste different.
Yeah, I know, it's like a soapy thing, right?
Yeah, like, and that's miraculous.
Do you have the gene?
No, okay. But for me, it doesn't add enough to
warrant adding it.
To warrant adding it and risk, someone eating your guac and being like, "Holy fuck, dude, this tastes like soap."
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, I think the serrano peppers really take its place really well.
Yeah, I mean, so I also do, the chili flake, and I do some, obviously, salt.
Salt in there, for sure. And
I also do a blend of 4 different kinds of pepper.
Okay. What are your peppers, or is that a secret Hudson mix?
It's just like I have this mix of, it's like a medley of multiple like peppercorns, like pink. I think it's like pink, red, black, and white peppercorns.
Okay.
And I, like I said, I like kind of like the craft things, right? So I get like the nice kind of pepper, like sometimes I get it from the farmer's market because they have like good black pepper there.
Nice.
I actually got some today, and I used it today. And so basically I just like, crack the pepper and then I throw it in there. But I find the advantage to the pepper is it like the different types of pepper is it kind of the pink and the white peppercorns, very like floral.
Okay.
Like kind of flavors going on. Like
I find sometimes a floral flavor can really hurt something though.
It can really. It's kind of like a balance thing, and you know what? I think, especially in like Indian cuisine,
That shit just fell apart.
they have an amazing balance between like floral and kind of like more savory umami flavors.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, is what makes like Indian food so great. Because I mean, like you take one bite and it's just like a fucking punch of flavor, right? And it's just like super like floral and herbaceous kind of taste, just to like some things. Like actually, this morning I went to the farmer's market and I got the Spicy Kitchen Indian food. I got the spicy beef curry, and I can't recommend it enough. First of all, like I love Indian food, and they make like a really kind of it's like pretty authentic, to be honest. Like it's a really like, if you've had like really good Indian food, you'll know that like not many places really have like that really really good like kind of, especially in the rice, like all the kind of like aromatics that they put in the rice. Like they have like star anise and like what's called like allspice and like a couple different things like cardamom pods and stuff in the rice, and that's just it's so good. And you can like taste it in the rice. It's delicious. And they're, in it, like I said, in Indian cuisine, that's like where they have like the perfect balance between floral and, otherwise flavors, basically. And that's kind of with the pepper. I kind of
your guac certainly has a perfect balance between things. I know this batch is a little bit spicier.
This batch is spicier, yeah,
than other batches, but I like it. I'm not afraid of a little spice, and this one certainly solidifies the fact that I am a spice enjoyer, certainly. Yeah, man. I mean, the guac is great. The beers have been great, and I mean, I really wish we didn't lose that footage. I don't know what my phone thought it was doing.
I mean, I'm not mad at it. It's extra double dipping time, right?
It is. You know what? Because this will without a question be the longest
it's
episode
gonna
of
by like
dipping.
40 minutes.
Well, I don't know how long we're gonna go, but like it's gonna be longer. Like already it's longer, and I don't know. I think this is gonna be a really good one, and it'll be weird though because the main segment will only be so long, and then when I'm editing, I'll probably cut in like editors say hi.
Hi.
And then I'll cut in like I just did, and I'll basically preface like my phone is an asshole.
Yeah.
And has decided to stop recording.
And it's worth noting this is the first episode that you filmed on the iPhone, correct?
This is the second one.
Oh, this is the second one. Okay.
I had this issue with Caden.
You had the same issue.
But when my phone stopped recording, it made a noise.
So you realized.
So I realized immediately. So we got up and we fixed it. Didn't do that this time around. I don't know what.
I think it actually did.
Well, I know it made
I heard like a weird noise, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?"
It was a text notification. I know. Like I recognize that noise.
You have like a weird text notification.
Yeah,
There.
it's the ringtone. Have you ever seen or played the Spider-Man games?
I've played like the first ever Spider-Man game. Yeah.
Like Spider-Man, like the PS4 one, or.
Yeah, well, not like I guess not the first ever, but like the first one in like the new generation. But I've also played like the old ones.
Yeah.
And I remember there was one on like the GameCube that was like You were like fucking delivering pizzas as Spider-Man.
That's a classic one.
And I used to rip that.
That
and it
is
was
the classic.
It was kind of a shit game, but it was kind of like I liked Spider-Man, so it was kind of fire for me.
But yeah, Spider-Man from the PS4 game, his ringtone that he has in that's what I have set as my ringtone.
Oh, nice.
Which freaks me the fuck out, because especially when I had it for my ringtone for a long time, like it had been a while since I had touched the Spider-Man game. So when Spider-Man 2 came out and I played that, I'm hearing the ringtone, and every time I hear the in-game ringtone, I'm thinking it's my own phone.
Yeah.
So it really fucked me up, but especially with they just released an update to the game there the other day, and I was back playing it after not playing it for about a month or so, and it fucked me up again. That I keep thinking, is that my phone? No, it's not. It's the fucking game. Because I've decided that I must have the same ringtone as Peter Parker.
So yeah, I wanted to ask you, and I didn't do it before, which is kind of good because now we have new content.
New things.
But so I seen you the other day in the tank making like this comic book-esque kind of thing. So I was wondering, that's for superheroes?
That's for superheroes and the supernatural.
So what's that kind of hinging on there? What's that all about?
So that class has you make a presentation for your final project. You don't ever present it, you just make it. Which adds a lot, because you have to fill out the speaker notes as if what you would say for each slide.
Yeah.
So it's going to be pretty involved, which is why I'm starting on it like now. But the topic I chose is Dick Grayson. So he was the first Robin with Batman. And then he, had a fight with Batman. There's multiple iterations of what happens. Sometimes he gets hurt in a fight with Joker, and then he gets like no, you're done being Robin. Or sometimes he's too busy with his own superhero team, and Batman's like, you're not giving me your 100%. You're done. You're not Robin anymore.
Damn. Bro got cast out.
Yeah, so he gets fired, and so then he goes on this journey of self-discovery, and he learns from. He goes to the other person who's ever really been his mentor, which is Superman. So he goes and he talks to Superman, and yeah,
that's a little weird.
Well, there's been a lot of stuff like early on in the DC days. Really, your big players were your Batman and your Superman, right? And Superman, like Batman's sidekick, he's gonna be there, right? So Robin and Superman will have some interactions, and Superman's the nice guy of all nice guys. So he's like, if you ever need anything, you can come to me. You can talk. All this stuff. And so he does. Dick goes and he sees Superman, and Superman tells him a story about back on his home planet, there was a vigilante who went by the name of Nightwing, and he stood for all of these things that Dick wants to stand for, and he's like, I really like that name. So he takes on the mantle of Nightwing, and he becomes a superhero separate from Batman. And for a very long time, like a very, very long time, he was just his own superhero, and he was sort of below Batman's level. And then 20-ish years ago, he's sort of like at Batman's level. And today, like, I think this happened maybe about a year ago in the comics, but he's sort of risen beyond Batman.
Damn.
Some big crisis happened, and the Justice League were all captured. And Dick, he rose up, and he was the one who saved the whole world and everything. Are you laughing at his name being Dick?
No, but you said twice. You were like talking about everything that Dick stands for. And then you were like, right there, you were like, okay, so in the last like 5 years, like, Dick rose up. And I'm like, bro,
dude, I don't even think about it anymore.
Okay, I'm sorry, everyone, for my immaturity, but
no, like that's
like,
fair.
come
like
on,
first learning about Richard Grayson.
I mean, I knew before, like, I was never big into the comics, but I used to have like those encyclopedias where you could like read stories about like origin stories and like end stories of like different comic book characters in like the DC universe.
Yeah.
And I had like all those, like I had, a couple of those books, right?
Yeah.
So
but no,
I used to rip those all the time, but I never really got into like the comics.
No, I only really got into buying and reading the comics here in the last year, but I was really happy the time I got in.
Bit of a dying art, no?
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Because I don't know, you'll see them available less at stores, but the volumes that they're selling, they may not be as much as they were, but they're making more money off them than they ever were.
Yeah, so they're more expensive.
They are more expensive. Because, like, when they first came out, they were, like, 15 cents.
Yeah.
And even accounting for inflation, they should be 40 cents. Like, and now, like, I go to the comic book store and I'm getting, like, a comic for $6. So, like, they're making great money on them. And, I mean, there's great artists on everything. But, like, it's a lot of fun. But Nightwing right now, he basically rose up, save everything. And when, you know, the Justice League were able to come back to Earth, they were like, we're disbanding. Like, we're not there to save the multiverse at this point when it needed us.
Yeah.
And it's like, but, like, Nightwing, you were there. And the Titans were there to save everything. So now the Titans will be the leading superhero
So
force
they'll be
of
like
Earth.
the Justice League, pretty much.
Yeah, so now the leading superhero force of Earth is the Titans, and their leader is Nightwing. So he is the guy. So it's basically going to be following that. And then, of course, you have to link it back to religious themes because it's a religious studies course. So it's a lot of father-son stuff, a lot of, like, you know, being small and growing up. So it's a lot of Jesus, God, Zeus, and Apollo, that kind of stuff. So it's going to be kind of fun. So what you saw the other
Zeus and
day...
Apollo stuff, that sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, because, like...
Elaborate a little on that, maybe.
Well, there's one story where that works really well with when he was fired from being Robin.
When Dick got shafted.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. And there's a story in Greek mythology where there was a war, like an actual historical war, and Apollo was on the opposing side to Zeus, and Zeus was basically like, "You're a dick. Why'd you do that?" And he forced him out, and he's like, no. So
not going to be in the Christmas card this year.
Yeah, so he forced him, and he forced him to live as a mortal for a year, so away from being a god, which it like draws on the similarities of like, oh, you know, Dick's not Robin, and he's been like forced to not being a superhero for a little while, and then coming back and you know getting back into things. And then there's also, like, if you think about Jesus, he was, like, right now is Lent. And, you know, Lent is meant to be the 40 days where Jesus went out into the desert. And he didn't have contact with anyone. And he did this to himself, away from everybody, for 40 days to go on this journey to make sure he knew what he wanted to do, which was to die. And Dick went on a similar journey when he was done being Robin and was looking to be Nightwing. So there's a lot of the comparisons that I could draw on.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to exploring it more, especially trying to find more stuff about the relationship between father and son that is the Batman and Robin. Because Bruce Wayne adopted Dick Grayson. Like, he is his son.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, it's kind of interesting to think about these religious studies classes, right? So, I understand that they want to have more of an objective take towards religion rather than fitting in one specific category. But I guess from what you're doing, it seems more ushered towards, like, Christianity. Right. Was that a flicker or?
That was a power flicker.
Should we check?
Yeah, you're right.
Technical difficulties.
No, we're good. All
right. Yeah. So, anyways, I was just saying, like, your kind of project seems ushered more towards Christianity. Is that kind of your own influence, or is that kind of the tone of the class more so?
So there's a lot of stuff that's compared to Christianity in the class because, like, you know, you think about the people taking the class, the majority of them are most likely just statistically going to be Christian.
Yeah.
Or if that is their religion, if they have religion at all. So there's a lot of that going forward. Like, the first thing we look at is the comparisons between Jesus and Superman, which there are too many. Not too many, but, like, there's a lot.
There's a lot, yeah.
And then it really just goes forward. But the biggest thing I think about is like why we're looking at the Bible a lot. It's just because there's a lot of like scripture for, you know, Judaism and your Greek mythology and stuff like that, but the Bible and Christianity has the most.
Yep.
Because Judaism is mostly the Old Testament, and Christianity is the Old and the New Testament. So, did I say New Testament for Judaism? It's the Old Testament.
I think you said old.
Okay, well, it is old. I just didn't want to get that wrong. But there's just so much to draw from. So when you're doing a project like this, and you know it's going to be difficult to find comparisons, the thing that has the most to pull from is really what you're going to want to lean towards.
Yeah.
And, like, I know the Apollo Zeus thing was a stretch, and I was able to find some stuff, and I wanted to do some Thor and Odin stuff as well. But there is surprisingly little about Norse myth.
Yeah.
Like, the majority of the stuff that we know about Norse myth was written in the 12th century. And it's, like, in convoluted poems.
Yeah, because a lot of, like, the Norse kind of culture was kind of built around, like, you know, moving from place to place and kind of, like, you know, Vikingism.
Yeah.
And just kind of, you know...
Well, the poems and the stuff, like the Eddas, as they're called, the Poetic Edda, which is the older one, and the Prose Edda, which is just a little bit newer. They are actually like the sources for the information that you see of Vinland, which is basically the Vikings having made it to North America. Like, that's where the majority of, like, Vikings actually came to North America stemmed from originally, and then they found shit here, but that's where it originally came from, was, like, studying these texts. Yeah. Because, like, the Nordic religions and stuff actually goes back way before Christianity, but the most of the scripture and the stuff that's all written about it is written, like 1,100 years after Christianity sort of sprung off, which is, like, crazy.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the stories have massive Christian influence, but the origins are very much not at all Christian influence.
Yeah, you know, and thinking, like, you know, hearing you talk about this stuff, it's very interesting. And, you know, this is kind of one of the things that I feel is, like, lacking in, like, you know, taking, like, a science degree or, like, a very pure science. And, like, for me personally, like, I don't have much space to take, like, elective courses or anything like that. So I miss out on a lot of that stuff, and it kind of is, like, upsetting, right? Because you have so much of an opportunity to kind of, like, you know, get artistic and get creative with what you're doing. And
exactly, like, I find, like, it's very rewarding because, like, I'm sitting on my computer, I'm coding, or I'm doing, you know, some circuit stuff, or, you know, doing math phys, holy fuck, and, like, just, like, doing all this stuff, and then I get to go, and here I have, you know, Matt Penner looking at me and going, like, yo, my dad has a superhero class, so I go take it, and you know, his dad's given me, like, here's a reading, and in this book that's written about Doctor Strange and its Buddhist influences, like, stuff like that, and then I read this little passage, and then I get to write up stuff about it and use the sort of skills that will probably be helpful in the future that aren't really developed doing a purely science degree.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting.
You know, it's important, and at the same time, it's also, like, something that for, you know, I feel like for most people, not all people, of course there's some cases, like, depending on what you end up doing, but, like, it's one of the skills that you can choose how much you wanted to develop it. But, you know, I think it's just always useful to kind of, like, keep building on, like, your artistic and your creative side, because that's, like, it's important.
I think that's a lot of what makes us human.
It's fulfilling in a different way than math and science is, because math and science is so, like, objective, and it's, like, black and white kind of, you know, you're working with, like, mathematical structures and things that have kind of rigid definitions that you can't really, like, play around with that much.
Yeah, it gives you, like, the opportunity for subjectivity and opinions and that kind of stuff that you just don't get in science. I mean, mind you, my favorite part about science is it has a truth, and that's the truth, and that's what it is. But then there's also, you get the opportunity to have the things that are, more fuzzy, and you get to work within that fuzz and figure it out for yourself.
Yeah. And I think it's cool, like, the different, like, opinionated works are, it's, like, hard to even kind of, like, categorize how I feel about them, just because, like, I took, like, an English class as one of my arts pairs, because, like, you have to have, like, a 4-course arts pair and then, like, a 2-course. And I really wish I didn't, because it's just basically kind of the same thing that I did in high school. It's just, like, a little bit more difficult.
Yeah.
I wish I kind of did something like religious studies, or, like...
Well, I think, like, the superheroes class is really... It's probably the most unique class I've heard of. And I've signed up to do cults and alternative religions. Because that one sounds... Like, it seems like it's interesting, because you're not just learning the basics of your, these are all the religions of the world, and this is what you're doing. You're looking at, like, these people did some crazy shit.
These people were going ham out here.
And then you get that stuff, and you look at that, and you're like, well, that's really interesting. And then I'm also going to want to take the Greek and Roman mythology course.
That would be really cool, actually, because they have some really, like, rich stories and poetry based off of their mythology.
And it's documented well, and there's just so much of it. Like, especially if you take the Greek and Romans, which Roman gods are basically just Greek gods.
Yeah.
They just renamed them. But it's going to be so interesting. And then I approached my professor for superheroes about maybe doing a Norse mythology course, and he said that he wouldn't be able to get it developed for next year, but, there's a possibility of an independent study. Then I'm like, absolutely.
Oh, you might hit up the independent study.
I think that would be great. Well, because, you get credits.
Yeah, I was thinking of actually doing an independent study as well.
And then you get to learn basically the specific things that you want to learn. And, I've gone and I've read parts of, just, like, textbooks that happen to include stuff about Norse myth. Like, I've spent hours in the library just trying to find stuff about Norse myth, because I find Norse myth just really interesting.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot, but what there is very difficult to sort of nail down and understand. So having it in a, guided independent study would be incredible.
Yeah. So I was thinking about doing a directed study with one of the professors in the math department, Dr. DeWolf, actually. And he mentioned the possibility of it when I was going to the Math, Stats, and Computer Science Conference in PEI with him. Mm-hmm. And it would be on a topic called algebraic topology.
Okay.
And so algebra is kind of more so looking at, like, the structure of mathematics in kind of a general form, like how we, like, define operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, things like that, and more so like the upper level theory of how systems work like that, like the real numbers and multiplication, addition, subtraction, things like that. And then, like, things like vector spaces and adding and subtracting vectors and multiplying vectors, and how can we define different operations on these objects. And then topology is the study of open sets, but by open sets I mean if you have kind of a overarching set of points, a topology on those points kind of pretty much tells you, if you're at one specific point, what's immediately in the vicinity of you. What can you go and get from, like, your surrounding points, right? Mm-hmm. So it basically gives you information about, like, the interior and exterior of, sets of points. So you could define, a set of points to be all the points that are in a circle on the, XY plane.
Yeah.
And that point, that would have a very clear topology where, the only 2 points next to you are the ones immediately next to you in the circle, right? But points outside the circle and inside the circle would be in two different categories, being the exterior of the set and the interior of the set, right?
Right.
And basically a topology tells you what's next, what's around me right now, what can I get to? Can I get to the exterior? Can I get to the boundary points? Can I get to the interior? What can I do from where I'm at?
Interesting.
And
what kind of applications does that have?
so it combines both of those. Those subjects in math are very abstract, but they have applications to almost every single pure science, like not an experimental, like doing experiments, like, it's important to know the theory, but you can also get away with, kind of just going through it meagerly and kind of just, learning the basics.
Yeah.
But if you want to really do some theoretical physics, you have to understand geometrically how things are working, right?
And that helps the understanding.
Yeah, that helps the understanding of it, because the topology is kind of more general than geometry, because geometry actually tells you, like, how shapes are, like, curved and the different angles and what's going on with these angles. But topology kind of just tells you, okay, what is around me, like, locally, like, what is around me? What can I see from where I'm at, basically? And geometry is more of kind of like a global... It's basically, if you take a structure, a set of points with a topology, and add some additional structure, like basically a way to measure how far points are apart from one another,
right,
then you end up with kind of a geometry. And that's what's called topological space, or a metric space. Like a metric space would be a topological space, so basically just a set of points with a topology, and which also has some way of measuring the distance between 2 points. And that's useful in physics, like when we talk about gravity research and also like quantum physics research. So basically these things are... gravity is like described as like an effect based on the disturbances, like the geometrical disturbances of space and time, right? So like curvature and general relativity describes how gravity is affecting objects within space and time.
The visualization you always see, where it's like it's a stretched thin piece of like a fabric, and you put something heavy in it, and it sort of stretches the space, and that's space-time.
And so that, if you place that ball in there, you're creating a geometry, right? You know how to measure the distance between 2 points, right? You know where the points are, and you know how they're connected to one another. Mm-hmm. So that's like a topological space with a metric, and that makes it a metric space. So the algebraic topology is kind of the study of, how can we define these topological spaces in terms of algebra? What type of structure do we need for our, you could define a set of points being just the natural numbers, or you could define it as the real numbers, and they would have different topologies associated with them, right? Because, if you're at any point in the real numbers, say you're at the number 1, immediately right next to you is 1.000001,
right,
or 0.999999, right? But if you're in the natural numbers and you're at 1, the only things right next to you are 0 and 2, right? So they have different topologies, right? And it's kind of just defining the way that... So these topological spaces in a set of points has to be defined over some algebra.
Right.
It has to be a subset of some greater universe of points, something like the real numbers. Like, usually we're working in the universe of the real numbers. But this algebraic topology starts to think about, okay, what if we weren't working with just real numbers? What if we were working with vectors? What if we were trying to do topological spaces within vector spaces, or within different, more abstract algebras, basically? And so that's what I might be doing for directed studies in the summer, and that would be really cool.
That would be really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, things like that, it takes a lot of, like, you know, you gotta sit down and you gotta really...
Well, that seems like it's something that it's really... It seems like it's built on a lot. Like, there's a lot that you need to know before you can even get to there.
Yeah, it would be helpful to take an abstract algebra course, which I have not done.
Is there any at X?
There is, yeah. So modern algebra, the course, Jacqueline is in it. She was on this, you know, a couple weeks back. Mm-hmm. So she's in that course now, and, you know, it's basically, like I said, like developing like the different algebras and stuff like that, figuring how to define operations between objects in abstract spaces.
The like advanced math like that. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I always found was like kind of interesting, but actually tackling it like and doing the work for it, like I can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah, it's
like,
pretty...
and I've tried, like, and I feel like that's the sort of thing that sort of led me away from physics a little bit.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's gonna die quickly. But no, that's just what really pulled me away from physics, because like the theory is like, it's really interesting, and like I like the experimental stuff a lot, and like talking about the theory is really cool. But when it comes to doing the math, that's where my interest goes away.
Yeah. And I can see that too. I feel like my math is pretty highly motivated from like physical, like from a physical perspective.
Yeah, like you wouldn't be doing the math if it didn't have the application to physics.
Well,
or something like that.
I wouldn't say that I wouldn't be doing it, because I really do enjoy math. But I don't think that I'd get to this point if it didn't have such a good interpretation.
It's kept you motivated.
It's kept me motivated, yeah.
That's always good to have something that keep you motivated. I think what's keeping me motivated in computer science right now is the possibility to build video games.
Yeah, that's very cool.
I mean, because, like, I don't know, I think video games are one of the things that I, you know, really, really enjoy in this world. And if I could, you know, get my hands on being able to create one, would be great.
I'll tell you what, video games for me as a child were really kind of important, right? Because, you know, like...
I think, you know, video games, they really help develop a lot of... Like, it's a stupid thing, like, a lot of people think video games are dumb, but it helps develop a lot of, like, fine motor skills and problem solving.
Yeah.
Those sort of things.
And also, it just kind of, like... You know, it helped me as a kid just to kind of, like, relax, right? Because a lot of times I'd be a little uptight, right? And, you know, it helps you kind of, you know, get away from, you know, some more stressful things in life, right? And
exactly, yeah.
Sit down and play the game and, you know.
And, like, that's what it is. The game is the game, and it's really good. And you know, from when we were kids and what video games are like now, like, it's turned into a storytelling genre as well. Like, it's, you know, before, like, a game would just be the game and playing it is what its goal was, but now a lot of the time the goal is the story that the game tells.
I think that's cool too, right? Because that can spark some, like, pretty cool, like, creative kind of I guess intuition in a kid, right? Mm-hmm. Because, like, seeing all these types of stories and how they play out and stuff, it can, like, you know, it can give you a lot of kind of inspiration, I suppose, to do different things, right?
Yeah.
Like, I remember when I was a kid, like, I'd play, like, I remember there was this one game called Watch Dogs, and I used to play that, and I was like, damn, I should become a hacker.
I remember Watch Dogs. Yeah.
This shit is sick.
No, there's a lot of that stuff, and, like, I know, I remember explaining it to my parents, and, like, I explained that, you know, like, I'm like, yeah, you know, I've been playing, for example, like, God of War, and they were like, what's God of War? And I'm like, well, you play as this guy who used to be a Spartan, and now he's in the sort of Norse realm, and he does all this stuff, and they're like, oh, that sounds like fun. And I'm like, yeah, and then I'll tell them, and I'm like, yeah, like, this shit was going on, like, this lady's pissed at us because we killed her son, and, like, she is like, trying to kill us, but killing our son brought on this, and then there's all these things, and it's like about familial bonds and all this like really deep shit. And my parents were like, what the fuck? Like, this is not what we thought video games were.
Yeah.
Like, we thought it was just like, you know, you're playing a game, like you went out and just like
it's
played
not
soccer.
As superficial. It's not as superficial as people think.
No, like there's really deep, and like I've certainly, like, if you go to like emotions that a movie brings about, I've certainly cried more playing a video game than I have playing or like watching a movie.
Yeah, because I mean you have that
feel
interactive
so much more
piece,
connected, because you feel like the character you've been playing as, like, not that it's you, but you feel so much more connected to them because you've been controlling them.
Yeah.
So it's certainly, for a lot of things, it's very powerful.
And on a side note, I would like to draw your attention to the color of this beer.
Right.
That is a beautiful color.
That is. It's a nice.
It's like a dark.
I describe that as a apple juice color.
What type of fucking apple juice?
No, I'm just saying, like, but like that's a.
I wish
good.
they could. They can't see it, but I wish they could. Yeah, I don't know. That's a pretty dark fucking apple juice, no?
Like if you take some apple juice and put it in that mug, it'll probably be that dark.
Yeah, maybe. It definitely has a little more froth than an apple.
Well, certainly a little more froth than apple juice, probably a little darker, but you know, it's good.
It's a good looking mug of beer.
Well, Huddy, we've recorded a lot, man.
We've surpassed.
I think we've done 2 episodes of double dipping, essentially.
We've done 2. Yeah, we've pretty much done 2 episodes of double dipping. But you know, it's been a pleasure. It's always fun. Chatting.
It was great to have you on for a second episode.
A twofer.
Yeah, really, this was a very special episode that we were able to pull off because of the technical difficulties that we experienced.
Yeah, luckily I didn't have any other shit to do.
Yeah, really. But no, thank you for coming.
Yeah, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, we'll probably get you on for when we get the multiple dips going on.
Multiple dips.
Yeah. I'm not going to call it that either. I haven't worked out the title yet.
It's not multi-dipping.
It's not multi-dipping. I mean, the first one we'll certainly call triple dipping because like you can't avoid that.
It's begging for it.
Yeah. But I don't know, we'll figure it out what it's going to be when we actually get there. But yeah, thank you for coming.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Double dipping. Out. Double dipping